gets so shy. I don't get it. Every time I pull the camera out, he's just like, ugh. And then he runs away and hides or something. With my white Skull Skate sweater. Okay, I've got pasta, quinoa. I could make crepes. Yeah, I'm gonna make crepes. Crepes are one of my favorite things on the planet. I love crepes. Okay, I'm gonna make crepes. When we were kids, we grew up with a single mom. My parents got separated, divorced, and I was like grade 4, grade 5-ish. Just gonna adjust this. And so we ate dinner, ate lunch, breakfast at the randomest times, and we had always something weird to eat. So one very easy recipe that I learned from my mom is crepes. And her recipe was, and this is just recipes, I don't think she made it up or anything, I think it's just like a pretty like standard crepe recipes. A cup of milk, 1 egg, and a cup of flour. And super easy to make. All it is you mix the ingredients in a bowl, and then you make the crepes on a stovetop. I've changed that recipe a little bit to make it more healthy for myself. I use coconut milk. This is, I don't think this is organic actually. Every single time, oh no, organic coconut milk. What does it not say on? Weird, it doesn't say. Organic coconut milk, water, organic coconut cream, carrageenan, I don't know what that is, organic guar gum, contains coconut. Yeah, so I'm trying to eat as healthy as I can. I don't eat a lot of cooked food. I do eat meat once in a while because I think it's necessary to have, I don't remember exactly what's in the meat, but there's 2 things I think that or one thing that you can't get without eating meat. And I have a chipped tooth, and I'm trying to grow that, and I'm trying to heal myself naturally. I think though I'm gonna stop eating meat. But it's very seldom. Maybe once every few months, something. Maybe twice every 6 weeks, something like that. So anyway, so I'm gonna use coconut milk. I'm gonna use organic rye flour. Let's see if that focuses. Organic rye flour. It's $3.67 for the whole bag, so it's not cheap, but it's not that expensive. And then organic free-range eggs. I don't really. All organic vegetarian feed. I don't agree with that. And I think that chickens should be eating whatever they naturally eat, worms, insects, whatever it is. I don't know totally what it is, but I know that they are not vegetarian animals. So anyways, that doesn't matter. So I have those 3 ingredients, and I'm also gonna add some ancient Himalayan sea salt, and probably some butter. So this is organic. Focus? There we go. Organic butter. It's a very easy recipe. I'm gonna kind of blaze through it because it doesn't take much. I don't actually really measure anything anymore. I try not to because I think that I will learn faster without measuring. So what I do is I add the flour and the milk together, and then once those are together, and well, you'll see. So I add the milk and the flour together, mix them up, and then I add the egg. And if it's not runny enough, then I add more milk. If it's too runny, then I add more flour. But try not to add too much flour or too much milk. So I'll show you kind of what I do. So it's a little bit of milk, and then some flour, and I worked in a bakery. My grandparents had a bakery for a very long time. I've been in bakeries since I was like, how old? Like since we came to Canada basically. So I would say I was 6 around baking. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, you're supposed to sift the flour and all this kind of stuff to keep the lumps out. And yeah, I agree with that. but whatever. I just use a whisk. A whisk seems to work very well. So I'm gonna show the other camera what it looks like. Now that's a pretty good consistency before I add the egg. The egg will add a little bit more runniness to what I'm making here. One sec.
Okay, I was just adjusting the other camera so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so that looks like a pretty good consistency, I would say. It's a little bit thick, but I'm gonna add the egg and then it will adjust. I was trying to be fancy, kind of what I didn't. Egg kind of crushed in my hand.
Add the egg, and it's, I don't think it's runny enough, personally. Let's see. It's pretty runny, actually. Okay, I'm gonna do one test crepe to see how that. I'm gonna do one test crepe to see how that worked out for the runniness, and after that, add a little bit of salt. So, for my mom's sweet crepes, she would add a tablespoon of sugar. And I try not to eat refined sugar almost ever anymore. Mix that salt in. Because I believe it's unhealthy for you. I try. Focus, please. Focus, man. I try not to eat refined sugar anymore because I believe it's unhealthy for you. So I've tried to cut it out of my diet. I do eat foods that have refined sugar in it because it's, I don't know, I like food. I eat ice cream, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, this place Rain or Shine ice cream on 4th Ave. Even some organic ice creams, they still have sugar. They might have different types of sugar, but they still have sugar. And I'm trying to cut those out of my life. So this particular recipe is not going to have sugar, but I'm going to sweeten it with organic maple syrup or something else. I'm not exactly sure. I might make this a savory crepe. I have some cheese in the fridge that I might want to eat. I don't eat a lot of cheese, but I do like cheese a lot. Yeah, so I'm going to get the pan ready, and then I'm going to continue with this in a second. Okay, so first I add the butter to the pan, the organic butter, and I've let it melt a bit. And the first crepe, this is an electric stovetop with a non-stick pan, and I personally dislike non-stick a lot. There are some people who believe they're unhealthy for you. I don't know, I've never researched it, but I believe the people who told me that. I don't know if actually, maybe they haven't researched it. Anyways, there's a bit too much butter in that pan. But, let's get rid of this. There's a bit too much butter in that pan, but that doesn't matter. It's the first crepe. We're gonna let it heat up, and there are little bubbles that are coming up. So there are little bubbles that come through. And then, once those bubbles kind of stop, on a cast iron pan, some steam comes up from probably the milk evaporating. So you can kind of see the steam. Yeah, you can kind of see the steam. And once that steam finishes to come up, or stops coming up, then it's ready to flip. And when there's sugar, you can really tell when it's ready to flip. When you flip it over, it's nice and golden on the other side, but there's no sugar in this, so it's a little bit different. This one's a little bit thick in the middle. There was a bit too much butter, so it didn't spread when I moved the pan around. And yeah, it's still gonna work out, I think. But a cast iron pan is, I think, the key to great crepes. My mom had a crepe pan, specific crepe pan, which is awesome. It's a pan with, and the walls are like, I don't know, half an inch, less than an inch. High, so you can really get a spatula under it, and they're big. It's like probably 12 inches across, and you can really make a nice big crepe. This one is going to be all right, I think. I think these are gonna be good. yeah, I'm gonna grab a spatula. And this is what it looks like flipped, and this looks really good. It's browning, it's golden. Arguably could be a little bit longer on that side, but the other side I had to flip because I wanted to cook the other side a little bit longer as well. This looks more like a proper crepe. Unfortunately, it has to be kind of small. I'm gonna try and get it to the very edge to get it a little bit bigger. I think it looks good. It's very, well, it's quite salty as opposed to a sugary dessert crepe, but whatever. That's what I was making today. Let's see what the other side looks like now. That looks a little bit better. Could be longer, but I would say that one's done. I'm not making this to sell, I'm making it to eat at home. So, okay. Thing is the pan is a little bit hot. So when the pan is hot, hotter. Is that right? When the pan is hotter, the batter cooks up really quick, so it doesn't spread as quickly. So turn down that pan, and also if you want the crepe to spread more, then you should make the batter more runny. So I could add some milk. Actually, I'll do that. I'll add some milk. This is very easy to alter the recipe while you're. It's not that much. I added maybe 1/8 of a cup. Maybe 1/3 of a, no, less than, I don't think 1/4 of a cup. It's about 1/8, I would say. Let's try that. On the next crepe, we'll see how runny that one is. Now the pan is it's quite hot, so these crepes will take less time to cook or to, I don't know what it would be. Nope. Nothing. I've turned down the heat, but the pan's heated up quite a bit. It's going to take less time to cook through the crepe. So there's that time when, like if you're cooking egg on a pan, it'll stick to the pan up to a certain time, and then it will become not sticky, and then after that time it'll stick again. So you gotta be kind of aware of how long it takes. There we go. This one is almost not sticky. Yeah, that was just long enough. I could have left it longer again because it didn't brown. But yeah. So you just have to be aware of those things. Okay, this is the one with that little bit of milk added. Yeah, it's already significant already. And it wasn't even that much milk. It was literally like less than 1/4 of a cup, I would say. And it is way easier to use, and it's easier to spread on the pan. It'll be a bit thinner, which is kind of like the trademark thing about crepes, is that they're thin. And another thing to look out for is the edges. When they start to curl up, like a leaf looking for water. This is what I'm talking about, is that the edges are all starting to curl up, so it's a sign that it might be ready to flip. Well, it feels that way. The spatula under nice and smooth. Ooh, could have stayed a bit longer. But that doesn't matter, whatever. The crepes to eat, not to sell or anything like that. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's a little bit. You can tell when you press on it, it's like the middle of the crepe. It's cooked a little bit. But anyways, you get the idea. That's it's basically how to make crepes. It doesn't matter if they're perfect. Some things are a little bit tricky, but you'll get the hang of it, and I'm sure you can make nice crepes to eat that nobody's going to complain about.